Hello and welcome to CCAC 1.0, also called Caucus 1.0. This is our overview of the lessons in the CCAC 1.0 lesson series. The first phase of Caucus will be an educational process and learning about the Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council. This presentation tells you what you can expect in this series. The CCAC 1.0 lesson series is a set of audio or video lectures about 10 minutes each in length that will explain in layman's terms what the Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council is about and why it is critical to the future of our communities in our free society. The series will cover the following list of topics. What is the Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council? What the terms subsidiarity, vesting, and polity mean? What science did George Washington say was the most important to teach our children and our citizens? How has perpetrated ignorance been used as a weapon to harm the American people? What book is for us what Common Sense by Thomas Paine was in 1776? Where do our rights come from? Do we get our rights from our government? Does the government get to tell us when we have rights and when we don't? Does our civil government force upon us some rights and deny us other rights? Is it just about our rights? Or are there other legal relations that we have that give us the ability to keep our freedom? What legal relations do we need to learn again? How much do we need to patiently endure abuse, tyranny, oppression, and other bad things being done to us by our civil government before we have not only the right, but the duty and the powers to do something about it? When we can do something, what do we do? What are our steps of action? What must we do before we can just act, even when in our own best interests as Americans? Under what authority and by what mechanism are we allowed to act? Do we still have time to correct the problems we see threatening our liberty? What else must we do in order to make sure we are able to remain safe, free, and secure in America today? What did the founders believe needed to be set aside and buried in oblivion that allowed for the colonies to effectively come together to defeat the British? Can we similarly set the same things aside today? What was the original document that preceded the Declaration of Independence that actually formed the Union, in fact, according to President Lincoln, which most Americans have never heard about? What official organization was connected to that document? What did that organization do that was unique in forming the United States of America? What powers and authority needs to be revitalized in this country in order to mitigate the things we see harming us in our current political climate? Through what political ideas are we completely able, willing, and predisposed to govern ourselves? What well-thought-out organizational plan exists as a valuable asset to organize our communities into constitutional polity to help save our nation, our culture, and our posterity? What does CCAC offer that isn't already out there? What makes caucus unique? How does subsidiarity help us to gain back our society through caucus? How was our polity or people organized politically changed in our history, and how did that change harm our society, our people, and our way of life practically? How must we correct our polity through the caucus to make our society better in the future? How do we do an additional proverbial reboot to restart our direction toward correcting the problems that we see need to be repaired and move us in the right direction as learners? What does the Declaration of Independence teach us about our liberties and how to apply our legal relations to protect our liberties? How is what happened in 1776 similar or different from what we are experiencing from our civil government today? Is there anything we can do about our government today? When can we come against abuse, tyranny, usurpation, and the like? What mechanism or forum can we use to deal with such offenses? What can we do when our government is not securing our inalienable rights? What rights do we possess that cannot be taken away by our government? What is the problem that caucuses will correct? Why is this caucus strategy vital to the future of our country and the assurance of our self-preservation as individuals, communities, and as a nation? How do caucuses provide us with a solution, a remedy to the threats we see happening in our nation today? Who are the sovereign authorities in America to which all citizens owe allegiance? What duty does that sovereign authority owe to its citizens? What authority do the good people have that can be practically used to preserve our liberty? What are the next steps we can all take to make caucus a reality and work together to revitalize our participatory constitutional government of the people, by the people, and for the people? There are many more questions you'll get answered in this multi-part session made up of around 20 10-minute sessions, more or less. So get a notebook, pad, or other note-taking device and get ready to learn some really important information. we will dive right in with the next lesson, CCAC 1.1. This completes this overview lesson, CCAC 1.0. Thank you for listening to this segment as part of our CCAC 1.0 series in our national orientation. Please join us for the first lesson, CCAC 1.1 in the series as we continue to unfold the Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council story. This is the extraordinary process in which CCAC will successfully provide continuity of government of, by, and for the people. In our next lesson, CCAC 1.1, we will go on to explain further details of how we implement our Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council. If you realize the necessity of revitalizing constitutional polity at the state and local level, please join this cause by going to www.ccac-us.com and registering on our official website. Take Pre-Quiz 1.0, then we urge you to work through the entire CCAC 1.0 series to understand the continuity of essential information we provide to help us all be on the same page. Then, upon passing the post-quiz with a perfect score, you will be directed on how to take the next step in the process of becoming a member of this vital organization. Please don't shortchange this process. Listen to and study the CCAC 1.0 material carefully. If you have questions or concerns about what you are learning so far, or issues affecting your community, please refer to the links connected to this lesson, or contact the person who gave you this information. Please move on to the link provided as we begin the actual CCAC 1.0 lesson series with CCAC 1.1. This ends the overview introduction of CCAC 1.0. We extend our best wishes from the Citizens Constitutional Advocacy Council.